to review the movie, and movie name is It Ends With Us, that came in 2024. And if we talk about its basic movie info, then its title is It Ends With Us, and its release date is August 9 to 2024, and its director was Justin Baldoni, screenplay by Kirsty Hall, and it's based on novel It Ends With Us by Colin Hoover. And if we talk about its producers are Alex Sachs, Jamie Hill, Heath, Black Lively, and Kirsty Hall. And if we talk about its studio or distributor, the Columbia Picture and Sony Picture releasing. And if we talk about its runtime, then its runtime was 130 minutes, and it's a romance drama movie. And if we talk about if its rating, then it's a PG-13 for domestic violence themes, strong language and sensuality. And if we talk about its budget was $25 million, and its global box office collection was $351 million. So it was a commercial huge success. And then if we talk about what the story is about, so basically it ends with a center on Lily Bloom, a young woman building her life and dreams, including running her own flower shop after a difficult childhood marked by family trauma. Lily meets neurosurgeons Ryle Kincaid, and they fall passionately in love. But as their relationship develops, Ryler's tempers and controlling behavior emerge, echoing patterns from Lily's past. Meanwhile, Lily's first love, Atlas Corrigan, reappears in her life, forcing her to confront old wounds and decide what kind of life she really wants. And the film's central theme is about breaking cycle of abuse and reclaiming personal strength, not just surviving love. And if we talk about its review summary or tone and performances, then first thing that came in mind is emotional core and themes. The movie attempts to adapt Colin Hoover's best-selling novel, which deals with romantic connection, domestic abuse, and self-empowerment, into a cinematic format. Critically, the story is praised for its intention to address domestic violence and healing, but some reviewers feel it doesn't go far enough emotionally or fail to explore Lily's internal growth fully. And if we talk about its acting and casting, then Black Lively as Lily Bloom, strong presence and screen appeal anchoring the emotional journey. Some critics praised her efforts, but others felt she lacked the vulnerability needed for the role. And second, Justin Baldoni as Ryle Kincaid portrays both charm and volatility. And if we talk about third one, Brendan Sklenar as Atlas, brings sweetness and emotional contrast as Lily's first love. And later, if we talk about Jenny Slate, adds a nuance and warmth in supporting role. Audience response was generally more positive than critics' reviews, especially among fans of the book, with a strong audience score reported on Rotten Tomatoes. And if we talk about critics and audience response, firstly talk about critics mixed review overall with Rotten Tomatoes around mid-range, about 55 to 59% critics score. Critics noted it is earnestly performed but sometimes suffers from clunky dialogue, uneven pacing, and difficult balancing romance with heavier themes. And some reviews felt it leaned too much on the romance tropes and did not fully engage with the complexity of domestic abuse. And if we talk about audience views, many viewers, especially book fans, found it emotional, relatable, and powerful in its depiction of nuanced relationships. And others found it the adaptation just noted that key emotional beats from the novel were missing or softer. A recruit audience discuss was that the film sometimes didn't portray the abuse with enough rawness or depth compared to the book. And if we talk about key themes and takeaways, first thing that come in mind is love versus toxicity, and what starts as compelling romance gradually reveals warning signs and unhealthy behavior. The film is meant to depict how even well-intended relationships can spiral into patterns that mirrors past trauma. And if we talk about breaking cycle, Lily's journey is ultimately about choosing herself and ending a generational cycle of abuse, not just choosing love. And if you talk about emotional tone, the movie blends romantic intimacy and serious drama, and not all viewers feel the transition is smooth. Some moments feel too soap opera compared to the novel's rawness. And if we talk about behind the scene and controversy, while the movie was a box office success, its production and aftermath were highly controversial. But still, if we talk about legal disputes, star Blake Lively filed a sexual harassment and retaliation lawsuit against director co-star Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios, uh, alleging inappropriate conduct during production. Baldoni denied the allegation and countersued, though his defamation countersuit was dismissed earlier. If we talk about actress Jenny Slate also described the production atmosphere negatively in court filing. And if we talk about this dispute continues and are scheduled for trial in 2026, drawing significant media attention and shaping public perception of the film. And if we talk about public reactions, Controversies around caste dynamics and behavior have overshadowed parts of the film release, leading to polarized opinion beyond the story itself. And if we talk about the final summary, it ends with Us 2024 is a romantic drama with a serious emotional backbone, tackling themes of love, trauma, and personal strength. It features strong performances and wide audience appeal, especially among fans of the original novel, but also mixed critical reception due to pacing, tone balance, and attention choice. And if we talk about its overall rating, then it's mixed by critics, generally positive with audiences. And if we talk about more movie review of this movie, then let's go for it. But as Allah has known, it will take time. Sometimes sometimes it takes too much time, and sometimes it gets earlier. I don't know what will be happen now, but I hope it will be end soon. Okay, and if we talk about Lily Bloom, a girl who grew up with pain. Lily Bloom's childhood was not normal. She grew up watching her father hurt her mother, not once again. As a child, Lily learned something dangerous without realizing. Love can hurt. That memory stays inside her even when she becomes an adult. She promised herself one thing: I will never live the life my mother lived. But life tests promises. And if we talk about starting a new life, as an adult, Millie moves to Boston and opens her own flower shop. Flowers are important, they represent beauty, softness, and new beginnings, everything her childhood lacked. She wants peace, she wants love that feels safe, she wants different future. That's when she meets Ryle Kincaid. Ryle Kincaid, charming but broken. Ryle is confident, intelligent, and successful. At first, he seems perfect, he is passionate, protective, romantic. He makes Lily feel special, but very early, small warning signs appear. Anger problem, emotional distance, and fear of commitment. Lily ignores them because he loves his strong red flags, feels invisible. And if we talk about the beginning of love, their relationships grows fast. Ryle showers Lily with attention. He makes her feel chosen for someone who grew up feeling powerless. This feeling intoxicating Lily believes maybe this is what real love looks like, love feels like, but love should never feel frightening. And if we talk about the first moment, everything changes. The first violent moments doesn't come suddenly. It comes quietly and an argument, a misunderstanding, a moment of anger. Really, Ryan hurt him. Then immediately apologizes. He cries, he begs, he says it one next day. And it's the most dangerous part because abuse rarely begins with cruelty. It begins with regret. And if we talk about the cycle, begins. The movie shows the cycle of abuse clearly. Love and affection, anger and violence, apology and guilt, hope that I will never happen again. It will never happen again. Lily recognized this pattern because she has seen it before in her parents. And if we talk about why Lily doesn't leave immediately, many people ask why doesn't she just leave? The movie answer honesty because abuse does not destroy love instantly. It confuses it and Ryle is not violent all the time, he is loving most of the time, and that makes living harder. Hope becomes the prison. And if we talk about Atlas Corrigan, the past returns. Atlas was Lily's first love. When she was young and broken, Atlas was kind, he understood her pain. He never tried to control her. When he returns in her life, he represents something important love without fear, not excitement, not drama, just safety. And if we talk about the internal war, real battle is not between two men, it's different. It's between two beliefs. Love means endure, first love means endurance, learn from her childhood, and love means safety, what she deserves. This is what the heart of the movie. And if we talk about the most powerful realization, Lily finally understands something terrifying. Ryan is not evil, he is broken. But broken people can still destroy others. and love alone can't fix trauma. And this realization breaks her and saves her. And if we talk about the turning point, becoming a mother, when Lily becomes pregnant, everything changes. She looks at her unborn child and asks herself, would I allow my child to grow up watching this? The answer is no. This is where the title becomes powerful. Uh, it ends with us. The cycle doesn't need end with anger. It ends with courage. Lily chooses to leave, not because she stopped loving Ryle, but because love without safety is not love. She refuses to pass trauma to the next generation. This is strength that's growth. And if we talk about the ending meaning, the ending is not about romance, it's about self respect. They choose peace over passion, healing over hope, and safety over fear. She chooses herself, and if we talk about what the movie really teaches, love is not supposed to hurt, apologize, do not erase damage. Trauma repeats unless someone stops it. Choosing yourself is not selfish, and living can be an act of love. And if we talk about performances, then Black Riley is Lily. Emotional control and strong, she portrays inner conflict more than loud drama. And second, Justin Baldoni Ryle shows charm and danger in the same person. It is exactly how abuse hide. And Brendan Skinner as Atlas represents calm, safety, and emotional maturity. And if we talk about direction and tone, the film keeps a soft, romantic look, which some people criticized, but that softness also reflects reality. Abuse doesn't always look dark. Sometimes it looks beautiful until it hurts. And if we talk about interesting facts, based on Colin Hoover's best-selling novel, it's inspired partly by the author's own family experiences and one of the most talked about romantic dramas of 2024. And it's a huge box office success despite mixed reviews. And its strong emotional impact on young audiences. And if we talk about final verdict, it ends with us 2024 is not a love story, it's a warning wrapped inside romance. It teaches that love should not require suffering, and if we talk about more, then let's go for more. And as all of us know, it will take time to load. So while it's taking time, we can put our headphones on and listen to something. And if we talk about Lily is not weak, she is conditioned. Lily is not weak, she is conditioned. One of the biggest misunderstandings about Lily is that people think she is weak. She is not. She is conditioned. She grew up watching love mixed with pain, apology, mixed with fear, hope, mixed with tears. When you grow up like that, your fear learns the wrong language. So when Ryle hurts her and then cries apologizes and promises things, it feels familiar. Familiar feels safe, even when it is not. That's tragedy. And why abuse confuses the mind? No, the film shows something very real. Abuse doesn't erase love. Because they remember good moments because abuse is not always cruel. Because the abuser is not always cruel. Because hope becomes louder than fear. Lily doesn't stay because she is blind, she stays because she believes love can heal. And if we talk about the most dangerous lie love tells, and if we talk about the lie is, if I love him enough, he will change. The movie quietly destroys this belief. Change can't come from love. It must come from responsibility, and trial never fully takes responsibility. That's why love alone is not enough. And if we talk about the quiet damage, not all wounds bleed, some stay invisible. Lily begins to lose her voice. She explains less. She hides more. She makes excuses. This is emotional erosion. The movie doesn't shout this. It let us notice it slowly, and if we talk about the cycle is real and terrifying. The story repeats what Lily was as a child: anger, Violence repeats what Lily watched as a child. Anger, violence, tears, promise, calm, love, anger again. The calm phase is the trap because during calm, hope grows again, and hope makes living feel impossible. If we talk about Atlas, represents choices, not romance. And if we talk about Atlas, is not there to save Lily. That's important. He represents something else, a different version of love. One without fear, one without walking on eggshells, one without apologizing after pain. He is not the answer, he is the reminder. We talk about loving someone who is unsafe. One of the hardest in life in this, and you can love someone deeply and still not be safe with them. The movie never denies Lily's love for Ryan. That's what makes her choice powerful. She doesn't leave because she stopped loving him. She lives despite loving him. That's real strength. And if we talk about the mirror of the future, when Lily becomes pregnant, she sees time moving forward. She sees the future repeating. A child watching arguments. A child learning the same painful language of love, and she understands something clearly. If she stays, the cycle continuation. If she leaves, it ends, not dramatically, quietly, bravely, and it ends with the true meaning. And if we talk about the title is not about hate, it's about courage. It means the pain stops here, the silence stops here, the damage stops here. One generation chooses differently, so the next doesn't have to suffer. That's heroic. And if we talk about the ending is not happy, it's free. The ending is not a fairy tale. It's free. Really walks away from knowing the future, but knowing one think fear will no longer be our daily companion. That alone is victory. And if we talk about what the movie tries to be, this film speaks to people who have loved someone who hurt them, stayed longer than they should, blamed themselves, hoped endlessly. It says gently, it was not your fault. And if we talk about the final meeting, when the movie ends, it doesn't leave you excited. It leaves you thoughtful, quite heavy, because it mirrors real life, where strength is not loud. Sometimes strength is simply walking away. Let's talk about more. And if it will take time, truly or wait for little at least 2 minutes. Still, it's not loaded, guys. Oh, it's. If we talk about Lily is not weak, she was tough to survive. Lily Blue did not grow up learning how to love Lily. She grew up learning how to stand quietly. As a child, she watched her mother stay in a marriage that hurt her every day. She saw brushes hidden behind makeup. She heard applies whispered in the night. She felt the tension in the house, even when no one spoke. Children don't understand abuse. They normalize it. So Lily learned something dangerous without choosing to learn it. That love sometimes hurts, that anger can come with affection, that apologizes can erase well. She did not become weak, she became trained. When Ryle later enters her life, his angel doesn't feel shocking, it feels familiar, and familiarity often disguises itself as comfort. That is why Lily stays longer than she should not, because she lacks strength, but because her past taught her the wrong rules for love. This is not weakness, this is conditioning. We talk about why abuse confuse the mind. Abuse is not constant cruelty. If it were living would be easy. The danger of abuse lies in its contradiction. And if we talk about trial can be gentle in the morning and terrifying at night. He can hold Lily because like she is the most precious thing in the world, and later becomes the source of her fear. And if we talk about and the human mind struggles to accept two opposite truths as ones. So Lily tells herself he did not mean it. He was instead, he apologized. He loves me. Sometimes he really does. That's what makes abuse confusing, not obvious. And if we talk about love and pain exist in the same person, heart keeps remembering the good moments while the body remembers the fear And when the heart and body share, the mind breaks slowly. This inner conflict is what traps Lily. And if we talk about the most dangerous lie love teaches, there is one belief that destroys more lives than violence itself. If I love him enough, he will change. Lily believes this because he wants to believe it. Because love is supposed to heal. Because story taught her that patience fixes everything. But love can't cure trauma, and love can't replace therapy. Love can't undo years of unresolved anger. Change requires responsibility, not romance. Ryle never fully owns his behavior. His apologies comes with excuses. His regrets comes with repetition. And slowly realize something painful. Love is not enough when safety is missing. That realization feels like betrayal, but it's truth, and the quiet damage no one sees, not all because it leaves press. Some damage happens in silence. Uh, Lily begins to hesitate before speaking. She explains herself too much. She avoids conflict even when she is right. She walks carefully around his mood. She is shrinking slowly. This is how abuse steals identity, not through violence alone, but through fear that settles into daily life. If we talk about the most heartbreaking part is that Lily doesn't notice it happening because it happening gradually like erosion, and one day she realizes she is no longer the woman who opened her flower shop with dreams and courage. She is someone else now, and quieter, smaller, afraid. And if we talk about the cycle that refuses to break, the movie shows the cycle exactly as it happens in real life. Anger builds contrast, the tightness, violence occurs, and tears follows, promises are made, hope returns, calm settles, and then it starts again. The calm phase is the most dangerous because during calm really believes change is arrived because during calm love feels real again because during calm love feels real again because during calm living feels cruel. This cycle is not accidental. It is psychological and Lily recognized it because she saw it in her birth. The past is repeating herself. And if you talk about Atlas is not a savior, he is reminder. Atlas does not rescue Lily, he does not fight Ryle, he does not demand anything. He simply exists differently, he listens, he respects boundaries, he never frightens her. And the difference becomes powerful. At least represent what love can feel like when fear is absent. He is not the solution, and he is the contrast. Through him, Lily understands something quietly devastating. Love does not need chaos to feel real. If we talk about loving someone who is unsafe, one of the most painful truths in the film is Lily truly loves Ryle. That love is real and it's not safe. The movie refuses to simplify this. It doesn't label Ryle as a monster, it shows him as human, broken, wounded, angry. But being wounded does not excuse harming others. Lily's stand is not living because she hates him. It's living because she loves herself too. The decision tears her apart, but it saves her life. And if we talk about the baby when the future becomes real, when Lily becomes pregnant, everything changes. Suddenly, her pain is no longer only hers. She imagines a child washing fear the way she once did. She imagines repeating history, and that thought terrifies her more than loneliness ever could. For the first time, life is no longer just emotional, it becomes responsibility. She understands that staying would mean teaching her child the same broken language of love, and she chooses differently. And if we talk about her, it ends with us the strongest line. The title is not angry, it's brave. It does not mean punishment, it means protection, it means the pain stop here. The cycle stops here. The silence stops here. One person chooses differently. So the next generation doesn't have to suffer. This is courage behind romance. The ending is freedom, not happier. The movie does not promise a perfect future. It promises something better, freedom. Lily walks into uncertainty, but without fear, she doesn't know what comes first. But she knows what will not return, and that knowledge is peace. And let's talk about more. It will take little time to load. it's loaded or not. Yes. If we talk about when love feels like fear, but you still stay. There is a moment in release where she realizes something terrifying. She is afraid of the person she loves. But instead of leaving, she feels ashamed or afraid. Because society teaches us that fear and love can't exist together. So when they do, the victim assumes something is wrong with them. Lily asks herself questions she never deserved to carry. And if you talk about why do I make him angry, why can't I just kill him for it? Why do I trigger him? These questions. So replace the real ones. Instead of asking why he hurts her, she asks why she feels hurt. This is how abuse rewrites the mouth. The victim begins to protect the abuse even inside their own heart. If you talk about trauma does not scream, it whispers. Trauma is not always dramatic. Most of the time is it quiet. It shows up when Lily finds a trailed by. When she prepares for explanation before speaking, when she reads his mood, the moment he enters the room, she becomes emotionally alert at all time. This is not love, this is survival mode. Your nervous system never rests, and when the body lives in fear for too long, it forgets what peace feels like. That's why calm feels boring. That's why chaos feels familiar. That's why living feels wrong, even when staying hurts. If we talk about why just live is not simple, people say it easily. Why didn't she just live? Because living means accepting loss of the future she imagined, loss of the version of him she loved. and loss of the dreams we fought for, living for grieving someone who is still alive. Lily is not walking away from a man. She is walking away from hope, and hope is heavy. Hope keeps people trapped longer than fear ever could. And if we talk about loving the version that no longer exists, one of the cruelest parts of abusing love is this: we are not in love with who they are now. You are in love with who they were at the beginning. Really keeps remembering his laughter, his kindness, his tenderness, and she waits for that version to return, but time reveals a truth. That version was not permanent, it was temporary, and she is loving a memory, not a man. And if you talk about strength, doesn't feels like a strength when you choose it. And if you talk when Lily finally decides to leave, she does not feel out. She feels empty. Her hand shakes, her voice cracks, her heart beats. Strength in real life doesn't look heroic. It looks lonely. It looks like crying alone at night. It looks like doubting yourself even after making the right choice. The film shows this honesty. Strength is not loud, is it quite endurance. And if we talk about healing is not fast, it's uneven. After leaving, Lily does not magically feel better. She misses him. She remembers the good moments. She questions herself again. Healing is not a straight line. Some days she feels free, some days she feels broken, and both are normal. The movie respects this truth because healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing not to return, even when nostalgia hurts. And if we talk about breaking the cycle is an act of love. The deepest love in this story is not romantic. It's a generational. Lily chooses to protect a future child from learning the same painful lessons she learned. She doesn't want her daughter to think fear equals love. She doesn't want her son to think anger equals power. By living, Lily rewrites the future that's love in its purest form. And if we talk about the ending is quiet because peace is quiet. There are no dramatic celebration, no perfect reunion, no fantasy ending because peace does not shout. Peace feels like breathing again. Peace feels like sleeping without fear. Peace feels like being yourself without walking on eggshells. The movie ends not with happiness but with safety, and safety is the beginning of everything. And if we talk about what the film truly says, the movie is not about choosing between two men, it's about choosing between love and fear, comfort and safety, memory and reality, hope and truth. And there is the truth even though it hurts. And if we talk about why this story hurts so deeply, because many people see themselves in it, not in the violence but in the silence, in the accused, in the waiting, in the hoping, in the fear of starting over. This movie does not judge, it understands, and that's why it starts with you long after it ends. And let's talk about more. As all of us know, if we press more, then it will take time. If we talk about the moment you realize love is costing you yourself, uh, here there comes a moment in Lily's journey that is not loud, not violent, not dramatic, it's quiet. Uh, she looks at herself and fully recognizing she has become. She noticed how carefully she is now, how often she obliges, how really really she realizes she is constantly managing someone else's emotion, and at the moment love becomes dangerous. Because when love demands that you disappear to keep peace, it's no longer love. It is sacrifice without consent. Lily begins to understand this need not intellectual but emotionally, and that understanding hurts more than any argument ever did. And if we talk about the body knows the truth before the mind does, before Lily fully accepts the truth, her body already has. Her heart races. When his mood changes, her stomach tightens before conflict begins. Her breathing shortening during silence. The body always tells the truth first, but the mind resists it because accepting it means change. The film quietly shows how trauma lives not only in memory but in the nervous system. Lily's body is exhausted from being alert all the time. Love should be rest, not survival. And hope can be more dangerous than fear. Fear wants you, hope traps you, hope says maybe next time will be different. Hope says he didn't mean it. Hope says this time he'll change. Hope keeps the door open long after it should be closed. Lily's greatest struggle is not fear of him, it's hope for him. Letting go of hope feels like giving up, but sometimes letting go is choosing life. The grief of leaving someone you still love. Leaving is not relief at first, it's relief. Really wants him like someone who has died, even though he is alive. She grieves the man he could have been. She grieves the future she imagines. She grieves the version of herself who believed love would be enough. This grief is rarely talked about, but it's real and it hurts deeply. And if we talk about the loneliness after courage, after courage comes loneliness. When Lily walks away, she is not surrounded by applause. She is alone with her decision. There are nights when she doubts her son, nights when silence feels heavier than argument ever did. But this loneliness is clean, it does not hurt her, it does not frighten her. It simply exists, and that makes all the difference. If we talk about learning a new definition of love, slowly Lily begins to relearn love, not as intensity, not as obsession, not as chaos, but as calm. Love becomes something that decodes, not make her heart race, but lets it rest. This new definition feels unfamiliar at first because chaos once felt normal, but peace grows addictive, and Lily begins to understand love should not be something you survive. It should be something you live inside. And if we talk about forgiveness without return, the movie presents a powerful idea. Forgiveness does not require reconciliation. Lily does not need to hate Ryle to live. She does not need revenge. She chooses distance, not punishment. This is emotional maturity. Forgiving someone does not mean giving them access to you again. Sometimes forgiveness is simply walking away without carrying bitterness. If we talk about the bravest choice is choosing yourself. Choosing yourself is often labeled selfless, especially for women, especially for mothers. But the movie reframes this completely. Choosing yourself is choosing life. Choosing yourself is choosing safety. Choosing yourself is choosing a future that does not bleed. Really, I finally understand that protecting herself is not selfish. It's necessary. And if we talk about love that ends, is not love that fades. Not all love stories are meant to last forever. Some love stories exist to teach, to awaken, to reveal. Lily's love with Ryle was real, but it was not sustainable, and death does not make it meaningless. It makes it a lesson. Not every ending is a failure. Some endings are salvation. And if we talk about the quiet power of the final choice, the final the final moments of the film are not dramatic because real transformation really is. Lily does not shout, she does not fight, she simply chooses. And that choice changes everything. The cycle breaks, the future shifts, the pain stops traveling forward. And if we talk about what this story leaves behind, it leaves a question inside the wheel. Am I choosing love or am I choosing fear discussed as love? That question stays long after the movie ends. And maybe that's the real power of it ends with us. It's loading, guys, so you have to wait for a little moment. It's still loading, so you have to make a little more wait. And if we talk about when you start missing the person you were before love changed you. There is a moment in Lily's life when she remembers herself not clearly, not fully, but like a faded photograph. She remembers laughing without checking anyone's mood. She remembers speaking without fear of consequences. She remembers being liked, and that memory hurts because it reminds her that somewhere along the way love demanded too much. She didn't lose herself. Suddenly, she lost herself in compromises, in forgiveness. She gazed too easily in silence. She learned to accept. This is one of the deepest bonds in the movie show. The quiet disappearance of identify. If we talk about trauma, does not look like pain, it looks like confusion. People often expect victims to know they are being hurt, but trauma rarely announces itself. It whispers, it blurs lines, it makes pain feel normal. Lily is not confused because she is weak. She is confused because love and fear exist in the same place. And when both live together here, the heart can't tell which one it should obey. That confusion is torture and not knowing whether to stay or leave. Not knowing whether you overreacting to underreact. The movie captures this emotional fog beautiful. Loving someone who hates themselves. Right is not shown as moments. He is shown as but broken people can still break others. She really sees his pain and that's why she stays. Because when you love someone who hates themselves, you start trying to love them enough for both of you. And that's an impossible task. You can't heal someone who refuses to face themselves. Love is not therapy, love is not medicine, and Lily slowly learns that truth painfully. And if we talk about then apologies becomes weapons. Every apology sounds sincere, every tear looks real, and that's what makes it dangerous because apologize without change become manipulation even if unintentional. Ryle says sorry, but he doesn't change, and Lily begins to understand something heartbreaking. An apology is not proof of love. Consistency is without change. Sorry becomes another way to continue harm. And if we talk about the exertion of loving careful, Lily becomes carefully with her words, carefully with her tone, careful with her timing, careful with her emotions. This is emotional exertion. Love should not require strategy. Love should not feel like walking through a minefield. When affection becomes calculation, the soul begins to tire. And it is tired, deeply tired. And if we talk about why Atlas feels safe without trying, Atlas doesn't demand, he doesn't trust, he doesn't pressure. He simply exists, and that calm is shocking to Lily because safety feels unfamiliar. It almost feels boring at first. not because it is empty, but because choice once felt like passion. This is one of the film's strongest messages. Peace can feel strange to those raised in pain, but strange doesn't mean wrong. And if we talk about the fear of becoming your parents, Lily's greatest fear is not being hurt again. It is becoming her mother, staying silent, enduring, normalizing pain. She realizes that history repeats not because people are weak, but because pain is inherited, and someone must be brave though enough to interrupt it. That someone becomes Lily. And if we talk about motherhood as awakening, the pregnancy is not just a plot point, it's a mirror. Lily sees herself as a child again, watching arguments, waiting for calm, hoping love would return. She refuses to her child grow up learning fear as language. This is not about anger toward right, it is about protection. Love for a child becomes stronger than love for a partner, and that shifts everything. And if we talk about living without hatred, one of the most powerful moments in that Lily lives without hatred. No screaming, no revenge, no cruelty. She lives with clarity. This shows true emotional growth because hatred keeps people connected, peace lets them go. And if we talk about strength that doesn't announce itself, the world often celebrates loud strength, but Lily's strength is quiet. She simply says it ends with us, and in that sentence live generations of pain being released, no drama, just real. And if we talk about what this film truly teaches, love is not measured by how much pain you endure. Love is measured by how safe you feel. You do not owe anyone your suffering. You do not need permission to leave. You are not cruel for choosing peace. And if we talk about the final truth, and sometimes the bravest thing you will ever do is walk away from someone you still love to save the person you are becoming. And that is not weakness, that is rebirth. Let's talk about more. It's still not loaded, guys. Yes, it's loaded. Wait. Okay, guys, let's begin the review again. And if we talk about the voice inside her, that actor asking, is this really love? Lily never picks up one day and decides she's unhappy. Instead, a small voice grows inside her. Not loud, not angry, just tired. It asks questions she keeps pushing away. Why am I afraid in my own home? Why do I rehearse conversations before speaking? Why does love feel heavier than loneliness? This voice doesn't excuse, it observes, and observation is dangerous because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. When love stops feeling like a choice, it first glitches right every day. Later, she feels like she has to. That shift is everything. Love should always be a nice choice, renewed freely. And the moment it becomes obligation, fear, or responsibility, something sacred has broken. The film quietly shows this transition, no dramatic moment, just emotional weight building up until breathing feels difficult. And if we talk about why she keeps remembering her childhood, her memories don't return randomly, they return when she feels trapped. Because the body remembers patterns before the mind does. Lily recognized the same silence, the same aggregates, the same waiting for 2 days. And she understands something terrifying. Pain doesn't repeat loudly, it repeats politely. It repeats in routines. And if we talk about loving someone who promised their future but breaks the present. Kyle speaks in future, I'll change. It won't happen again. We'll be happy. But Lily lives in the present and the present keeps hurting. A future that never arises becomes another form of control. The movie shows how hope can be weaponized unintentionally but destructively. And if we talk about the moment she stopped explaining herself, there is a subtle turning point. Lily stopped trying to explain her feelings, not because she no longer feels them, but because she realizes she shouldn't have to convince someone to treat her gently. If someone needs long explanation to understand pain, they are not listening, they are negotiating, and silence becomes her boundary. And if we talk about Atlas as a mirror, not a rescue, Atlas doesn't save Lily, he reflects her. Through him, sees who she is when she is not afraid. Her laughter returns naturally, her voice softens, and her body relaxes. This is not romance fantasy. It's contrast, and contrast tells truth better than words ever could. And if we talk about the guilt of choosing happiness, Lily feels guilty for wanting peace. Because society teaches that love requires endurance, that meaning, that living means failure, that saying means loyalty, the film gently challenges this belief. Staying in pain is not noble, it's tragic. And if we talk about the promise she makes before her child is born, before the baby arrives, Lily makes a promise no one hears. I will not teach you fear. This promise becomes her anchor, not revenge, not anger. Protection sometimes motherhood doesn't begin at birth. It begins at courage. And if we talk about breaking cycle is lonely work. When Lily chooses to end the cycle, no crowd cheers. Breaking generational pain is silent work, often misunderstood, often just, but it's holy. But she becomes the person her younger self needed, and then that is the most powerful transformation of all. And if you talk about love that doesn't destroy, you feel strange at first. Peace doesn't rush, it doesn't burn, it doesn't consume, it waits. And Lily learns that healthy love doesn't overwhelm, it supports. It doesn't shout, it stays. And if we talk about what this believes in the heart, not sadness, awareness, it makes you ask, am I seeking to be loved? If the answer is yes, something must change. So it was a review of this movie. I hope you like it. Let's meet tomorrow. Goodbye.